Danica.
Oh, you're right down.
Yep.
I call to order the September 23rd, 2024 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Secretary, would you please take roll this evening?
Commissioner Pfluger.
Here.
Commissioner Hankins. Absent. Commissioner Alms.
Here.
Commissioner Stanton.
Here.
Commissioner Klinger's here. Commissioner Danielewicz.
Here. We have a quorum. Everyone should have received a copy of the minutes from the July 22nd, 2024 meeting. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, motion to approve?
So moved.
And
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
Okay, item number 4, is there any communications, Carrie?
No.
Okay. Next up on the agenda for this evening is item number 5, ordinance number 5124, variance from an accessory building size regulations, property known as Drexel. May we have staff report, please?
Yeah, this is a residential lot. It's actually a double lot where the detached garage is nearly the size of the home. And because the maximum area we can allow for accessory structures is no larger than the area of the home, in this case, this applicant is really limited in the size of a shed that he could have here. He only desires to build a 12 by 16 shed. That shed, in addition to the existing garage, would result in 912 square feet of accessory building area. This is smaller than typically allowed, which is 1,000 square feet, but because the house here is under 1,000 square feet, staff cannot approve the shed unless the village board grants a variance to allow the area of accessory buildings to exceed the area of the principal structure. Staff recommends approval of the variance. Like I said, this is a larger lot. There's plenty of room for the desired shed without it being a detriment to the surroundings in any way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present? Please approach the podium.
Mr. Yarber, I'm going to swear you in. Could you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. State your name and address for the record.
William Yarber, 825 Drexel Boulevard.
Thank you.
Is there anything additional that you'd like to add to the staff report?
I mean, unless you have any questions for me, as in like why I feel like I need it or anything, I'm not sure how this really works.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I saw up front you have a big shed, and then you need more room in the back, or what
Yes,
what is it?
I mean, the garage was built. Originally, it was only one property. I acquired the property next door to me,
Okay,
which then I merged it into one. That's when I built the bigger garage.
okay,
The garage now holds all my vehicles, plus my storage. It's getting tight in there with the storage as far as I've actually scratched the motorcycle a few times just because of that. I'd like to move that storage into an additional building. That way I could at least keep
All
the, vehicles nice. Not to mention, I mean, the fact that, my lawn equipment sits outside. So through the winter months, I'd like to be able to, prolong the life of those.
okay. Not just have I didn't see the yellow sign, the notification sign there. And then I saw you brought it in.
Yeah.
What was it on the property or was it not? I just want to make
It
sure
was on the
everything.
property, but I just took it down and put it in the car. to come
Oh,
here.
just today or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
The
That's
only
fine.
other time that it's been removed is when I mow the yard.
Okay. Gotcha. I just normally see them, and then I didn't see it when I drove by, and I was like, oh. I know we had a table something. It wasn't there. So as long as it was there, it's fine. It's fine.
Any other questions? You may be seated.
Thanks.
Thank you. To open up for discussion, could I have a motion to approve item number 5?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any additional discussion around this item? Okay. Do the commissioners agree with the findings of fact?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Alms.
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton.
Yes.
Commissioner Pfluger.
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger's a yes. Commissioner Danielewicz.
Yes. Okay, so this will go forward with a positive recommendation to the Planning and Economic Development meeting, committee meeting on October 7th. you are advised to attend that meeting. Thank you. Next up on the list is item number 6. And are we going to do 6 and 7 both together?
Yeah, we can do
Okay.
6 and 7.
So 6 is ordinance number 5224, special use permit for a public utility use in a single-family residential district. And item number 7 is variance from building height regulations in the single-family residential zoning district. We have staff report, please.
Yep, the commission may recall back in October of 2022, when the land north of where the new Harlem Community Center is being built was purchased by North Park Public Water District, and they combined that property with land where the old well house was off of Ruby Lane and applied for a zoning change and a variance to make that a conforming lot in preparation for this water treatment plant that they're seeking the special use permit for now. This property is owned single-family residential, and the treatment plant is considered a public utility, which is only permitted in single-family zoning with a special use permit. This location is directly south of some residences on Copper Drive, but the treatment building itself will look nice, and it'll complement the design of the Machesney Elementary right there and the design of the new Harlem Community Center. For the health of the village's water supply, this facility is necessary, and staff is recommending approval of the special use with 3 conditions: to require the site to be built consistent with the plans submitted, to require solid fencing along that northern residential property boundary, and to regulate the light levels consistent with what we require for commercial developments that are next to residences. And then agenda item 7 is a variance asking for this building to be slightly taller than the maximum height allowed in single family, which is 35 feet. You can see on the building drawings that are in your packets that one portion of the building will be taller than the rest. That portion will be 40 feet tall. North Park Water may be able to explain better than me, but as I understand it, that height is necessary to have room for some of the mechanisms that are required for this treatment to treat the water. Again, this building will be far enough from adjacent properties. We don't anticipate the 40-foot height being a detriment or a danger to the surrounding properties, and we do recommend approval of the height variance as well.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present?
Okay, can you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Chad Hunter, 6475 Weaver Road, Rockford, Illinois.
Thank you.
Do you have any additional information to share with the committee?
I think Carrie explained it well. We're looking to put a treatment plant in here that all of our wells will feed into, and then we'll distribute to our system from here. We'll be treating for PFAS, which requires large vessels within the building, which is, the reason for the height of the building. The 40-foot part of the structure is actually a stairwell, and that's for ease of access onto the roof. There's a lot of maintenance that has to go into some of the venting on the roof, and then there's hatches to get into the vessels as well. So this is actually for the safety of the employees.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
What kind of chemicals are used in this? How, I know it's in the residential, so how safe or unsafe is it to have all those? I mean, is it?
They're carbon filters, so it's,
Just filters.
Yep,
There's no chlorine,
filters.
there's no,
there will be chlorine and fluoride in there as well.
okay.
The well that sits there on the property currently has that in there now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's liquid, so there's really no danger to the surrounding areas.
Turret has the same setup then, or?
Yes, all the
Okay,
wells
so-
have the same setup.
Anything else? No. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
So we will discuss these and vote on them separately. So may I have a motion to approve item number 6, ordinance 5224 for a special use permit for a public utility use in the single family residential.
So moved.
A second.
1 second. Good. Any other discussion or conversation around this one? Okay, does everyone agree with the findings of fact?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And Mr. Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Fluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Klingers, yes. Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Danilowitz.
Yes. So this will go forward with positive recommendation to the October 7th meeting as well. So now may we have a motion to discuss ordinance number 5324, variance from the building height regulations in the single family residential.
So moved. Go ahead. Second.
Okay.
Any other discussion about this one? Does everyone agree with the findings of fact?
Yes.
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 And a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Klingers, yes. Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Danilowitz.
Yes. Thank you. This one will go forward with positive recommendation as well. Thanks, Chad. Okay, next up on the agenda is item number 7, ordinance number 5424, variance from a freestanding sign height and area regulations. And this is, we got 2 of these that are going to be discussed together as well. So we do have 8 and 9. 9 is ordinance number 5524, the variance in total sign area. Staff report, please.
Yep, these variances relate to the same large multi-tenant sign proposed to sit in front of the bank that's currently under construction at
This-
Perryville and West Lane Road. This requires 2 variances because the height and area are larger than what our code permits for this type of sign, and because this sign is on the same lot as the bank, the total sign area is going to exceed the maximum area our code allows at that particular property. Our code limits commercial multi-tenant freestanding signs to a height of 15 feet and an area of 100 square feet. This proposed sign would be 26 feet tall and 178 and a half square feet. It is designed to display 12 business names for future businesses that would be locating on the 10 new commercial lots that were recently platted in the area northeast of where the sign would be located. The retaining wall in front of the bank will actually be behind this sign, so the sign base would sit lower than the ground where the bank is located. And the other future businesses will be situated higher than the sign base as well. This is why these businesses may not be visible for motorists that are right there on Perryville or on West Lane Road, because they'll be kind of up higher, and why a sign here is understandably desired. Considering the varied elevations here and considering the height of other signs in the vicinity, staff is recommending approval to allow this proposed sign, with the condition that before we consider any more variances for freestanding signs in this commercial area that we're talking about, the developer will need to apply for a special use permit for a planned community development, where we can see how many freestanding signs will ultimately be in this entire area, what those signs will look like, and how large those signs are proposed to be. My concern is that unless we have a planned community development where we can look at an overall sign plan for the area, this could turn into kind of a hodgepodge of large multi-tenant signs on every lot as every lot is developed, leading to some lack of cohesion in the style of the signs and some sign clutter in that area that we'd like to avoid. And then for agenda item 9, based on the linear feet of lot frontage at the bank property at 7005 North Perryville, a maximum of 335.63 square feet of signage should be permitted on the lot. But the bank signage that's been approved plus this multi-tenant sign will result in a total of 786.45 square feet of sign area. It's not a big difference. And staff too feels that this variance does meet the findings, and we recommend approval of that variance as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? Please approach.
Good evening. Raise
Good
your right
evening.
hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Name and address for the record, please.
Cassandra Crandall, 6801 Spring Creek Road, Rockford, Illinois, on behalf of Perryville Investments.
Thank you.
Is there any additional information you'd like to share with the commission?
Yes, so we are requesting a variance for sign height, area, as well as the maximum area of the sign. We have no issues with the conditions recommended by staff, and we are committed to developing this area with a theme and design that is consistent and attractive. For example, our site at 173 in Orlando demonstrates how we would be committed to maintaining a consistent theme for commercial development. We believe that we have met all requirements set out in the ordinance, understanding that there is a 50 feet elevation difference. This site has unique features that require a difference in signage. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Any questions?
If I recall, I think the retaining wall, didn't we have to approve a special easement for you to move that retaining wall for more drive through the bank? There's room for the sign south of the retaining wall?
The sign is going to be on between the bank and Perryville. So it'll be on the opposite side from where the drive-through width was considered.
Okay.
That was a variance for the drive-through width on the east side of the bank building.
Oh,
I thought it was the south side.
I thought it was the south side.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of I thought that was all the drainage area that we had to get the special use and everything set up for.
Right.
The traffic is going to go south of the building, but the actual drive-through is on the east side of the building. And that's where the variance for the drive-through width was required.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah, the drive-through width, but then they had to get approval from the DNR about going a little bit into that south side.
That was something that was
Okay.
approved internally,
Yeah.
not something that the commission had. to
No,
consider.
okay.
And then, why aren't you considering just a longer sign rather than a tall one?
So this sign, in order to be visible, since it's 5 feet below the retaining wall, in order to see that from the street, we need that amount of space so that the tenants that go back in those 10 lots can be visible from the northeast corner of Perryville and 173.
Can you pull up the sign?
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, on my phone, it's not that huge, but,
So it's 5 feet below.
Yeah, but it's still 40. So why is it still? I
Well,
don't understand why.
with that, is the sign, which direction is the sign going? Is it going like north and south or east and west or?
It's on the northeast corner.
Right, but
Of
then
Perryville.
so it's a 20 foot or 26 foot tall and with about 4 foot, 5 foot wide. But is that going to be, so when people are they seeing it when they're driving on 173 or
on
Perryville? Okay, so it's going to be facing east and west.
Correct.
Jay, did you have a
yeah,
question?
it's
No,
gonna be
it's
eight,
just-
looks like 8.5 feet wide,
There's, I
with
just-
five
yeah.
feet being
Understand.
buried into below the retaining wall, more or less.
So then, is this going to be not taller than the bank that's there now?
I believe it would be in front, but I believe that it would end up being taller.
Okay, because so it's 5 foot below the retaining wall, but so that gives us 21 feet that are from that wall up and then in the front of the bank.
Mhm.
And is that gonna, does that tenant have any issues with that as well?
I don't
To
know.
the sign.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's their properties that they're developing and
Yeah.
their tenants, and
Yeah.
so
Okay,
staff's recommending approval.
Yeah, and that's one of the concerns when you have signs in front of buildings and signs in front of other signs. That's one of the reasons I suggested the condition to require a PCD before we look at any other sign variances, just
Yeah.
to see how this is all going to work out in the end when everything's developed.
Yeah,
And we
that's
do have
my-
no issue with doing a PCD. Ultimately, when we have a plan for more development, at this point, we need to know who is going to go in each space and use that space judiciously. We do already have plans for one tenant to develop adjacent to the Wintrust building, and this tenant already is not going to have a monument sign. So there's already one adjacent lot that will only have front signs, no monument.
Right. Yeah, I like that plan, the cohesiveness of each I mean, you got 31 acres, which is a great project. Each one be consistent in not exactly the same look, but height, lighting as you go. And that's what you're talking about, Carrie, is that this plan,
Well, this, and it's not required now.
No, it's
The
not,
condition
but-
would be if, before they apply for more variances for signs that are larger than our code would permit, they would have to turn in that PCD plan, and that's something, a special use that would be considered by the commission.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Address my concerns.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, to open up for discussion, can I get a motion on ordinance 5424 for the variance of the freestanding sign height with conditions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Okay, any more discussion with this one?
Like I say, my concern was, I'm okay with this one sign, but if they start adding, but Terry's addressed that, so. I mean, we don't need 30 more signs out there to clutter up the, be like billboards out there, so.
Well, and it is on a hill, which I have a little concern that all those are gonna have signs, so it's gonna look like a double decker, bunch of signs on top of signs on top of signs, so. But
Unless they're just on the buildings, I can't imagine putting a monument sign
Right.
out there in the middle.
I
Of a
go back
project.
to one that is in the Orlando area that had a larger sign approved, so it could be seen over the buildings. So then do we start adding
Oh,
to some of
yeah.
that issue as well? Carrie? Dan? I'm sorry.
Right, I kind of echo what Jay's saying, but I notice as I drive around there, everybody just has their sign on the building. And these multi-tenant ones are great, because you got to list them. I just wish it maybe was not so tall. It was wider. But in general, after seeing the plan and a bigger thing, I mean, I'm okay with it, but
Yeah.
I think we really gotta,
26 seems high, but it sets down.
but it's so far down, it's only ends up being
Right.
6 feet higher than normal, I think. Is that right, Carrie?
Right.
Whatever, 5 or
Yeah.
6 feet.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
it was,
it
if
could be
Mhm.
15 feet.
It would be
without-
15,
without
so
it
it's
was
really-
actually built on a retaining wall, it would be that height.
So take that in consideration. In my mind, I'm okay with that.
And I do want to point out that the condition that I'm suggesting is only if more signs need variances. If they were going to build a sign on every lot, then it complied with our regulations, that then they wouldn't need to do the PCD.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's how you guys understood it, or if you're okay with the condition the way that I suggested, or. I just wanted to point that out. They could still have a sign on every lot, just not an excessively large sign.
And what's the square footage on it?
For a single user, it would be 100 square feet, 10
Okay.
feet tall.
Oh.
And for the multi-tenant, it's again 100 square feet, but it can be 15 feet tall.
Any other discussion, questions? Okay. Do the commissioners agree with the findings of fact?
Yes.
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 Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Klinger is a yes. Commissioner Fluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
No.
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Danilowicz.
Yes. Okay, so this will go forward with a positive recommendation to the October 7th meeting. And then, so let's have, can we get a motion to approve agenda item number 9, variance for in total sign area, ordinance number 5524.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? Or did we cover everything in the previous one? Okay, do the commissioners agree with the findings of fact?
Yes.
Yes. And can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
No.
Commissioner Fluger,
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger is a yes, Commissioner Danilevich.
Yes. So both of these will go forward with a positive recommendation to the October 7th meeting. With that, next up, is there any other business? Item number 10, any other business? Okay, no public comment. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
There you go.